McIntosh with us this week. Good to have you, Tyler.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate being here.
That's great. So you've been with us for how long?
I think this is year 5. I was
crazy.
trying to go back and count and do all of that, and so yeah, I think it's year 5 that I'm starting right now.
Right, and at that time you kind of part-timed it.
Yeah.
Right. So you were teaching.
Yep.
Had you just started teaching then?
So I taught for 2 years, and then in that process, I started looking for some alternatives to make some extra income, and fell on real estate. Actually, it's a joke really,
right.
But my dad is a plumber by trade, and so he always did other handyman stuff and everything like that. Really wanted to flip a house, right?
Okay.
And so I was like, you know what, you flip a house, you buy a house, and I'll get my real estate license. And then he ended up buying a house. And so,
did you help him buy it? Were you the realtor?
No, not at the time. Which he found. He actually bought one of my old friends that I grew up with house down the street.
Where did you grow up?
Tulsa,
okay.
West side of Tulsa, almost Sand Springs area, right on down. It's almost like Gilcrease Hills area.
Okay,
the best,
I'm familiar with it. Yeah.
And so he actually went through with it, and so I said, well, dang it, I'm going to hold up my end of the bargain, and so I got my real estate license, with the intent to help him sell it, and just kind of some things worked out, and he ended up renting it out to some family members that needed it and that kind of thing. And so with that, I was like, well, I have this, let's put it to use, and had some good people that I knew that were agents that worked at Whittington, and
okay. And that was
Susan Liner.
Okay.
Was the big one at the time. And then, I knew some. I actually, John Upshaw, I did my student teaching at Brink while he was teaching at Brink.
Okay.
And so just some names of people that are that I respected. And,
sure.
But the big connection was Susan. And so she brought me on and
I remember that. And, yeah.
You helped, and haven't looked back since.
So you went to high school in Tulsa?
Sand Springs. I was a transfer to Sand Springs.
You're a Sandite.
Yep. Good old Sandites.
How was that experience?
I loved it.
You did?
I loved it. Yeah.
That's
it's
good.
kind of, you had that feel of a 6A school without the 6A opportunities, but it still kind of felt a little bit like a small town.
I like Sand Springs.
So I'm a big fan of it.
I think that and Sapulpa, what's the street between the two of them? It's
Highway 97.
Highway 97.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we don't need to talk about Sapulpa.
Yeah, I get it.
That's rivalry. That's like talking about Southmore to Westmore over here.
Okay, I got you. But they both have personality. Both towns, they've got some. Sapulpa's really kind of a cool little downtown area.
It's a cool little area.
And but Sand Springs, and they've got a golf course there that I've gone to. I played that Sand Springs.
Page Belcher Golf Course?
No. Sand Springs Public Course. It's kind of up the hill, and I don't know. I lived in Tulsa in the early 90s and played. Anyway, a lot of good course there. So how'd you get to Oklahoma City? Just
came up here for college.
Okay.
And so I was playing soccer, got an offer from Mid-America Christian University. Right down just, south side OKC.
You played soccer?
Yep.
And you played soccer in college?
Uh-huh.
Really?
And so, that was really exciting. I was super blessed to get to do that.
What position?
I was a goalkeeper, actually.
Okay.
And so
were you good?
I was real bad at dodging. So it's like I played dodgeball too many times. You get hit, and then you think you might need to stop some balls in the way. No, I was all right.
Interesting. So was it a good team?
We actually got to go to the national tournament one time.
Where's that?
That was in Orlando. And
Okay.
so played with some really, really good people, like just people that blow your mind type of players and stuff.
How long ago was this?
Oh, it's getting on 10 years now that I started.
Okay.
And then I guess 6 years whenever I finished.
Did you watch Ted Lasso?
Yes. I even, for the start of this premiere, I just had a mustache for a little bit.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't post any pictures of it because it was embarrassing.
That's probably good. Yeah, I wonder if he shaved that after the show was over. Is it over, you think?
I think so.
They left a lot on the Instagram.
They did. I think they might. Well, they put that part on there was like, we can change the name. It's never about me, about the book at the end,
right,
And I think they might do a little spinoff or something.
This is a great show.
I don't know. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was good. I thought third season kind of first 7 or 8 episodes, I was like, why are they doing this? It seemed a little slow.
Yeah.
But it ended up pretty good.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Anyway, so you're in teaching as well. Mm-hmm. So you started where with teaching?
So I did my first year teaching in Muskogee. I coached a soccer team there and everything like that too. Then I ended up getting married and moved back to Oklahoma City, which is where my wife is from.
She was in Muskogee, or why?
No, I moved there because my old soccer coach and assistant principal is actually the principal at Jinx Freshman Academy now.
Okay.
But he was working in Muskogee and said, "Hey, I have a job for you." And I was like, "Well, let's just do it."
What were you teaching there?
Oklahoma history and U.S. government.
What, junior high or?
It was high school. Sorry, it was high school.
Okay.
So, my government class, I was 22 years old teaching 18-year-olds, and that was there was one kid in there that was 20, and he was about to age out, but. Man, I was like, are we hanging out on the weekends? Like, what are we doing?
That's
like,
funny.
You're as old as me.
Right.
But no, it was fun. And then came back and got hooked up at Middell. I was at Midwest City High School teaching for a couple of years. I did freshman there. And then during that period, I was getting my master's. That's when I got my real estate license too, around that same time period.
Wow.
And then ended up applying for a principal's job. And now I'm an assistant principal at Midwest City Middle School. And so that's where.
What's the difference? You like being a principal, or?
I do. It's very different
as opposed to
teaching.
Right.
And so just kind of the interactions that you have and the people that you have interactions with. I'm in front of parents a lot more than I was as a teacher, and students that I'm in front of. Sometimes it's in a different little mindset than what it is.
Discipline mostly.
Sometimes me coming in and having to bring the hammer.
Right.
I'm mean and scary.
What are kids doing now? That's an issue.
One of the big ones that you're seeing like nationwide is vaping. That's a big one that you get on anywhere, and you're going to see that people are starting to install vape detectors and stuff like that. And we're looking at writing some grants to get that kind of stuff. That way we can crack down on it.
Can you write the grant?
Yeah,
you know how to write a grant?
A little bit.
Yeah,
I get people to help me, but it's some technical writing.
Yeah, if you know what you're doing though, you can get a lot for it.
Yeah.
Interesting. So vaping, that's the issue.
Yeah.
What else is there?
Cell phone drama. I mean, I'm with 7th grade this last year, and that's the year 12 and 13-year-olds is the year everybody thinks they know everything.
What's the answer to that problem?
You just work through it. Vaping, you address, and you come in and you do some training and stuff on like health benefits, but it's cliche and it sounds tacky or whatever, but it's you preach kindness, you know what I mean, and,
right.
and you really kind of fight to show kids that like I don't want to I'm not going to build anything better if I'm tearing everybody else down around
me,
right, and that's what people think, if I feel bad, other people should feel bad, and you got to show that there's a better way to do that kind of stuff.
It wasn't long ago. You were in 7th grade,
right?
Or 8th grade. What's the difference? Is there much of a difference?
Access to technology, I think.
Well, you talked about there wasn't vaping then. There wasn't. Did you have a cell phone?
I did my 7th grade year, but it wasn't like. I mean, it was
it was
a Go phone, pay by the you pay by the text.
So the sidekicks.
Yeah. And so it's just different. You know what I mean? Like now, if you had an issue with somebody when we were in school, like you got to go home and be away from the issue for a little bit.
Sure.
Here, kids they don't have an opportunity to shut that off because it's right in front of their face the whole time. And so that's one of my big recommendations for parents is kids don't need a phone right away.
Sure.
I get them one of the little
you're saying
watches.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. So
or at least social media.
You're optimistic about teaching.
100%.
Okay.
100%. There's a lot of struggles. There's a lot that's going on. But I think it's a valuable investment.
Right.
Very much.
Curious I'm not even talking real estate.
Yeah.
As far as your public to private schools, you've thought through that much, or there's a big push on private schools here in Oklahoma for whatever reason.
I'm personally a big believer in public schools,
right.
and part of that's just from my career. I don't have anything bad to say about private schools or charter schools or even online schools. I think one of the biggest things is that like different things work for different kids, right?
Sure.
One size fits one. And, I would not have been successful in a work from home situation as a student.
Right.
I barely did well with my kid, with teachers standing over me,
Right.
My wife, if she worked from home, the whole time in her career, she would have been a fantastic student and still got valedictorian and all that stuff. And so I think it comes down to part of, knowing your kiddo and knowing what's going to be best for them.
Sure.
And so,
sure. Yeah. Interesting. So your real estate, You liking it?
I am.
It's still part-time for you.
Yeah. So I help out, my friends a lot and that kind of thing. And then, some family members, but I've started to branch out and finally get some,
you've had
people
few
that have
really
had a few
good deals.
Yeah. And so I'm actually, this is my first time right now. I'm getting to look at some, luxury real estate.
Oh, that's good.
It's kind of weird when there's 7 numbers in the price tag and
the commission's a bit different too as well.
Yep. And so that's
great.
exciting.
You know what? I'm encouraged sitting here talking to you because even just with what you're talking about with school and the public schools, I'm around other teachers and it's just sometimes it's like so negative and it's good to hear the optimism in your voice. So
and there's definitely, not to diminish any struggles, right? Because it's a hard job and it's a hard push and there's a lot of work to be done. And sometimes it feels like you're fighting uphill without without support. And so, but it's I think it's super valuable work. And
gotcha. Absolutely. What's something about you we don't know?
Oh man. Well, you took the college soccer player thing away from me. That was.
I didn't know that.
That was going to be my one.
There's got to be something else.
Yeah. See, the thing that's really stressing me out is I think I have a receding hairline going on right now. That's why I had to sit on this side. That way my hair's right here.
I think you're doing all right. Yeah.
So that's when I'm going to get my first tattoo. It's going to be a little dot just right here. That way,
that's good.
That way I can track it over a couple years.
Have you had a 10-year reunion yet?
We did. It kind of fell apart a little bit. Okay. I wasn't super active in setting it up.
You'll see some bald. You'll see some real bald people with that. Yeah, I remember going back and anyway, I think you're doing all right with the hairline. So, anyway, well, it's great to have you.
Yeah, I appreciate being here.
All right. See you next week.